this is so unprecedented, so outside the realm of anything that anyone has seen in history, where a sitting president's attorney general has approved raiding the home of the past president and possible future presidential candidate against the sitting president.
Congressional Republicans say they are preparing an investigation after the FBI raided Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida.
The search warrant was authorized by a federal court upon the required finding of probable cause.
3 days after the raid, Merrick Garland gave a brief statement to the press which provided few answers, and the Attorney General took no questions.
First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the Department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken.
Several media outlets are reporting that the raid took place as part of a federal investigation into whether the former president took classified records from the White House to his Florida residence.
Certainly, it must rise to a national security level threat for the FBI to raid a former president's home. I love you! Secondly, the President of the United States has the ability to classify or declassify documents. So just because they're labeled classified doesn't mean that something substantively is classified. The archivist certainly isn't the one that makes that decision. So for the reports to be that the president has classified material because the archivist said so is really laughable.
There's also suggestions that they could have had an alternative purpose, that is, they're using the classified documents as a way to get January 6th evidence. If that's the case, they could be really laying the groundwork for serious repercussions.
Just weeks before the raid, the Attorney General was asked about the political implications of possibly charging former President Donald Trump over the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
No person is above the law in this country. I can't say it any more clearly than that. There is nothing in the principles of prosecution, in any other factors which prevent us from investigating anyone who's criminally responsible for an attempt to undo a democratic election.
Republicans have written to the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, demanding that he disclose to Congress what form of national security threat would justify such a raid.
Well, as I'm sure you can appreciate, that's not something that I can talk about, so I'd refer you to the department.
Much like the Attorney General, Mr. Wray said little on the raid when questioned by the press, but he did answer this one.
How concerned are you that after the raid, that could embolden, maybe even incentivize some of the same bad actors from January 6th doing something similar?
Again, violence against law enforcement is not the answer, no matter what anybody's upset about or who they're upset with.
Newsweek reports that, quote, an informer told the FBI what documents Trump was hiding and where, end quote, and that this was a catalyst for an attempt to carry out a low-key search while the former president was out of town.
If this is really looking for documents where you know where they are, why are 30 agents going in? Why is this a big show? And this idea that they were trying to keep it low-key is really bizarre.
We're also asking for what did the FBI send to the court? What did they say they were going to find? Why was there a risk that this had to rise to the level of a warrant as opposed to just a subpoena?
After the Steele dossier, the Carter Page warrants, the Michael Flynn injustice, and special counsel Bob Mueller's whitewash of all of it, Americans are justified in their skepticism of the FBI and Justice Department and their worries that both entities have become politicized.
Thank you all for your questions, but as I said, this is all I can say at this time.
Democrats and the mainstream media are taking the same line as Mr. Garland in his press conference.
No one is above the law, not even a president or a former president of the United States.
But there's another side to it.
Nobody's above the law, but the law needs to be above politics.